suppose just tell me a little bit about you, tell me a bit about your journey, and yeah, we can go from there.
Sure. Today is an amazing Monday. I've, as usual, my fiance and I work together, so we start our days usually the night before, talking about what we're going to do that next day. And last night, we were so busy, we didn't do our normal like check in and check out.
Yeah.
So today's been a crazy day. But yeah, I would say that the next thing that we do usually once we're up is meditating. So that's how I start and end my day.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, today we got a little bit of our workout and a sauna. I did my sauna today, so today's been a good day so far, and I was really looking forward to us meeting. So yeah,
no, awesome. I've been looking forward to it as well. So sounds like you've got a good routine going. That's one thing I struggle with, because I've not really had like a stable like living environment for really since like October last year, maybe even before, to be honest, because I sold my house in September, and since then it's just been me traveling around and so on. So yeah, to try and establish a routine, I need to be in the same place for like more than 2 weeks, kind of. So,
well, that's kind of what we do too, though. So we actually have a place here in Indianapolis where I am now, and then we also have a place in Laguna Beach.
Oh, nice.
So my fiance's kids, 2 of her boys are out there. Her daughter was out there too, but she's now in medical school at Western Michigan. And so yeah, it's but we're pretty blessed. We get to go back and forth and spend our time. But I definitely know what you mean. Having the routine even be different in both places is one of the things that's difficult, and that's actually one of the reasons that I have my Trifecta training system. Is that I have a diversified amount of like things I can do, so that I can always keep up with my practices without how do I say it? My body starts to notice it very quickly. Since I hurt myself, since I crushed my spine. Part of my story, I'm sure we'll probably talk about it, but that's what I deal with. So it's something I really do have to have the practice. And it doesn't take long, like just a few days, 2-3 days of not paying attention to certain things that I'll physically and mentally notice those things. So
okay, cool. And how does it, like in terms of mentally, how does that affect you if you sort of miss that routine?
The biggest thing, I think the routine and the sleep are the 2 things that affect my mental ability, as well as my ability to get into a flow state, stay in a flow state, and then also be in a non-reactive state. So I'm able to be at a better place for all the people that I'm interacting with. So that would.
That makes sense. I think that's one of the I think that's like up there in like the top, the top 3 things is having healthy routines and actually getting enough sleep, isn't it? Like it sets your day up so well if you get enough hours, and that's one thing I haven't been getting recently.
Able to do. Mine is in sleep is struggling with so the pain levels. And so I've got, like, I wear an Oura ring, sometimes a whoop strap. I've got my Apple Watch, all these different biometrics so that I can really maintain awareness and review where I am with things, so that I can figure out how to improve what I'm doing and notice if I'm maybe having a trend that is, for instance, like I was on an upward trend with my sleep, and now literally like just this week, the Aura told me now I'm on a downward trend. So just paying attention, but I knew I've been having problems just in general with the pain levels that I've been experiencing, and that waking me up, and just, what do I do about it? What implementing more of the things that I know work. And sometimes it's even trying new things to get a new level of relief So yeah.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about that, about your injury, because I'll start off with like knowing absolutely nothing, and by the end of the podcast that we do later, I'll know a whole lot, right? But tell me a little bit about that, because
okay. I crushed my spine when I got thrown from a horse hunting elk with my father-in-law. So it's a pretty good story, but it's I at the time I was playing soccer 3 times a week. I played indoor and outdoor soccer my whole life.
Yeah.
In high school I was in multiple sports. So I played tennis, golf, and soccer, just had never had an injury that I couldn't heal.
Yeah.
So that was also a new thing. Once I was injured, but I was 37 when that happened.
Yeah.
But even like 2-3 years before that, my triplets were born, and they were born early, so they were born at like 26 weeks.
Wow.
Like I said, I was I was like 33 when they were born, and from the time I was 18. I lived next door to the head anesthesiologist from Riley Children's Hospital, and his wife was head OBGYN for IU Medicine. And he had even become kind of like a mentor to me because he had some really nice audio video equipment. And it was a passion of mine when I moved to that neighborhood, or my parents did. The other neighbor that was my age that I started a landscaping business with, his dad had some amazing stereo equipment, like $20,000, audio system.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard anything like that in my life. But it put me down a road of, learning about it. And then actually after I graduated from Indiana University's business school, that company hired me and paid for my master's degree. Cool. Because they wanted me to go to university, or they wanted me to move to Kentucky to work at one of their stores. And I wasn't so interested in moving away from my family and friends. And the owner made it as an incentive to be able to do that. So yeah. So that's one of my passions, which also even has a lot to do with what I understand now about healing and frequencies and how they work with our mind and our body and our heart. And so it's interesting that like all those things that you do that a lot of times other people from the outside might not even see as related. That you can see how they all connect. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been, I'm fairly new, I suppose, into, I wouldn't say like the mental health space, because I've dealt with it a long time, but it's like fairly early on into dealing with it from a perspective of trying to help other people with it, you know? And like I've noticed just taking like more time in nature. So my 3 things are adventure, community, and education. That's how I believe we'll be able adventure, community, and education.
Okay.
So I believe that if we go out, get outside in nature and explore the world, and we do that with community, or you build community with that, like they're 2 things that really help with mental health, like reduces the isolation, and it actually gets you up and gets you moving. So that physical activity, whatever it is, like I'm not the type of guy that they would say, oh, go to the gym and that will fix your mental health. Like I'll go to the gym, but it's like I don't do it for that, it's a good starting point, right, for those. But I think also if you're not a gym bro or like not into gym, then going on a hike, going on a walk, getting outside, going on a bike ride, whatever, something easy is still good. And so mixing that adventure with the community and then educating on the back end of that to help people and develop the tools, resources, self-awareness, and so on. But one thing I noticed, I was in Bosnia and I just like stopped to like just take note. And you can actually like, if you just focus on one point, you can start to see like the vibrations, like that you can see the earth sort of like vibrating in a way. And I was just like, whoa, it was like really, really cool. But yeah, it's like, so I've just started getting into like learning more in this space, and that's why I want to bring guests on that have got knowledge and experience, so I can learn. So it's like sort of, you know, we learn together and we grow together, and ultimately if we can work as a team in that sort of community space, then we're going to be able to help like so many people around the world, you know. So
I agree. That's the mission that we're on. The backstory, Glenda and I met online on Tinder. I was actually just getting over, so I when I got thrown from the horse and crushed my spine, they put me on Vicodin. So long story short, I was on like 1,000 milligrams of morphine a day. Even when insurance ran out, was on heroin. Figured out how to get off of all that after putting myself in the hospital 5 times cold turkey each time I would go off of it, because I'd also lost custody of my triplets. So for 5 years I didn't get to see or talk to them. So that's a big part of my story. And the doctors kept telling me I would be like that forever. And that was just something that I was going to have to deal with. And I would always, there was no other way to deal with that kind of pain but the, you know, that, because we'd even tried muscle relaxers and tried, not beta blockers, but some other different things that they do, and nothing else really worked, and surgery wasn't an option. And so, you know, and to me, that wasn't an acceptable answer. And so it put me on a path to figure out, kind of like you're doing, to go out and find the people, right, that have answers, because like, just because you go to doctors doesn't mean that's your only source or resource. And luckily I'd been taught that kind of growing up, and I'd also, like I said, been involved in lots of athletics. I'd done martial arts from the time I was like 7 to 14, and taekwondo and hapkido. And so, yeah, it was just like something that once you have your mindset, that's also what I found, is that the mind is a really powerful thing. So it can either be used to, you know, your benefit. Most of us right now use it against ourselves. Right. We let that voice in our head, we let that think that that ego voice is in control, and we don't know how to dominate, or how to have unconditional love and control over that ego, and to let it serve us instead of us serving it. So yeah, it's been a really fun journey, because I'm to the point, like you said, where I've found out so many different neat creative, just like combinations of solutions that work for me, that it was like beginning to share them with other people was my natural. Just like I went to Montessori school, so like once I know something, like you said, I want community to share it with. Right? I'm looking for, and so if I don't have one, I want to build one. So that's just in my nature. And so yeah, I wanted to start sharing those things, and seeing people get the results. Right. And then also finding like-minded people, kind of like we're both doing in our journeys here with our podcasts, and you know, being able to reach more people and serve more people, and share the messages and the you know, connection with other people. Yeah, I think that's what, as we elevate ourselves as a species, I think that's what we have to do. Or we're going to get entangled in, you know, the only other option, because our minds, you know, function in a way that they have to focus on things. And so if they don't have a positive thing to focus on, they're going to focus on a negative thing. And with the, in my opinion, the way that the media and the social structures work, because we haven't figured out a way to creatively, as a species, instead of as countries, unite, and come together with something that is beneficial, like for the health, like we were talking about the mental health. And what I found was that it didn't matter how smart you are with your IQ, or how smart you are with your EQ, with your heart and your intelligence, and how to lead people, but that if your PQ, your physical intelligence, your physical quotient got crushed like mine, that the other two were kind of useless.
Yeah.
And even if you were like a ninja at one before, now all of a sudden it was like gone from your arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're like literally it's like a tool you can't even have, which sometimes can even be more frustrating, right? Because it's something that served you before that now you know you're not doing, and you can't even like recapture you like the ability to do it. So yeah, it can also then lead to the depression and the other things that people go through. So yeah, I think that's also why you know, part of now knowing where I am now, that was part of why I went through that, was that I would be a very good person to share that description and how it feels, and then when other people go through it, to be able to share the things that I use, like ninja mindset tricks, where you know, I set success traps so that I don't let myself do bad behaviors, or that if it happens for a period of time, I've got a reminder that, you know, sets me back into the pattern, so that I'm not allowing anything to go very long in time, so that I can keep the compounding effect that I like to have with the different things that I do. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and we actually like resonate quite a lot. So it's like that, you know, if you improve 1% a day every day for a year, you grow 380%, you know, and then if you do that again next year, you're growing that amount, and so like that compounding effect is huge. And I would like to know, before I tell you like about my sort of thing, I suppose, so like around my injury, what would be an example of a success trap for you?
Oh, that's a good question. So simple things like calendar, meeting notes, having someone else that I let hold me accountable. Oh, getting everything ready for the next day before I go to sleep. Same thing as like setting up systems for lots of things. So like my gym bag, having a basketball, a soccer ball. It's got a place for my wet clothes. I've got a change of clothes in it, and I try to keep that in my bag at all times, so that I'm always switching that out. And then simple things like practices before bed, like I was just saying, like the meditation. And again, having a partner, I think, helps, and giving the person the authority, and that you've agreed on how they can remind you, so that it's something that you're working together, and that you keep that positive energy, because I think mindset and those things are so important, that it has to be something where you know that this is a team effort. And so once you're both on that same team, it's a very different energy than when you know, someone tells you what to do, as opposed to someone like reminds you that thing that you're like, oh yeah, thanks. Like whenever you're reminded, you're like grateful. So as opposed to like being maybe triggered, as I see some people being triggered, they don't like to be told what to do. So it's hard for them to set up successful things, right? Because they don't know how to give or receive support. They don't know how to ask for help. So all those things are things that most people need to set up do not disturb on that too. That most people, I think, forget about. So
no, that makes sense. I liked the how you said about life systems, you know, like setting, and particularly setting the day up the night before is one of the biggest things you can do. Is like, first of all, you write, you know, if you're doing a journal, for example, you can do your journal, and then you can write down all the things you can control, all the things you can't control. So you just forget about the things you can't control, and then tomorrow you've got a list of everything I can control, and then that's like your to-do list for the next day. And just having little systems like that in place, really, really cool. And I completely connect with that. I also connect with your injury, your crushed spine. Now, I never had a crushed spine, but I 6 months before I got married, I ended up having an accident, like a road accident with a car. I was on my push bike and I got like a delayed whiplash kind of. So I tore my AC joint in my shoulder and tore my pec as well. And then my neck was like fully extended. So after we did some like rehab and stuff like that on like the shoulder and that, like the whiplash like kicked in, and then my nerve in my spine like shortened, and like, and you would know like that nerve pain, like that nerve trapment, nerve pain is just excruciating. So when you were telling me about like, you know, like losing that PQ, right? Like losing like that physical like self, you just like, I gave up. I was like, well, what can I do? I couldn't go to work. I was in a neck brace. I couldn't really do much. I couldn't sit or walk without pain. The only thing I could do really just sit and just become like a bit of jelly on the couch, right? And then.
But even that can hurt.
Yeah, of course.
At least for me, it was like laying there could hurt. Like you're afraid to move.
Yeah.
Because it will hurt, but it hurts already. So you're like, yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah. It's so weird.
It's horrible. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was at a phase in my in my rehab, and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm like doing well. And then like, okay, cool. And they got me on like the Pilates thing, and you hold the bar and you roll forward and tuck your chin. And I had the worst pain, and I just burst into tears because I was like,
yeah,
I thought I was doing well, and like I'm in so much pain still. And yeah, I was like lucky. I was definitely got hooked on like the painkillers and stuff like that. And it was only through a couple of like doctors that changed things up for me and just helped me remove that, because I just became dependent. And you're taking 20 painkillers a day, like 20 pills a day. It's not good for you, and it just ruined, like it just ruins you. And then my depression just got even worse at that point. So yeah, all right, I'll ask you a question from.
Oh, and I invite you to change your wording.
Okay.
The depression.
Yeah.
It's not yours. You don't own it. So anytime I use, I'll slip and I'll say like my pain.
Yeah.
So I use the pain, so that you don't identify it as something that you own if it's a negative, and the opposite if it's a positive.
Yeah.
So your word choice and your mindset and creating the future reality from the now, when you speak from the now.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
It's really powerful. It's really powerful.
I think it's funny that like replacing one word can create new meanings so much, right?
It makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Like right now.
Yeah.
Just talking about it, like it gives me that like excited, and that like the level of understanding that happens, right? Because it's something that's spiritual too, in my belief. So the way that I understand it, so we've got our IQ, our EQ, and our PQ. Yeah. But then those are the three pillars, the stool that supports our SQ, our spiritual quotient. Yeah. Right. That makes up every being. And it's a much deeper thing. It's like it's a metaphysical energy thing that happens with our body. And that's why I think like that's why we get sick and have challenges, and that's why it can be induced upon us, or that's why shifting environment or maintaining a good consistent environment of a positive thing, those are such big factors, right? And how we not only are today, but definitely how we then transform or progress into our future self.
No, that makes so much sense. And like one of the biggest shift in languages I had for myself was when I had the depression. I always ask myself the question, what is the purpose of life, and what is what is the meaning of life, right? And that's a question that is commonly asked, right? Like you hear it in like on TV shows and stuff, like what is the purpose of life, what is the meaning of life? And I just changed 2 words in those sentences. So I changed it, what is my purpose in life? and what is my meaning in life. And when I changed that, I was like, holy shit, it's not about what the world has got to give to me in terms of the world's purpose for me. It's about what I've got to give to the world. It's my meaning in life. It's my purpose in life. It's what can I deliver, you know, and just that shift in just 2 words. And for you, 1 word in that sentence can just create such big new meaning, and then just a massive change of perspective. So I love it. I loved it when you said that. It's like, yeah, I've never thought of it as the depression. Like, it's always been, I've had, it's mine. And so it's relinquishing ownership.
Yeah. From now on, it's not yours.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because then you can also, like, then it's also something that once you don't own it,
yeah,
now it can temporarily come back. But also now you own it. And so also now it's your, in the way that I think of it, obligation to share what you now understand with others that don't understand it, to help them shift their energy, right? Because shifting out of that energy of depression is just needed more positivity. Doesn't matter the human. And so now if you understand that, like, that's where you get to be the steward of that energy shift, not just for yourself, but for others. And that also then makes it so easy, because now you're not doing it for yourself, and it's easier to give than to like, oh, I got to give to myself. I can't do that, but I can give to other people that automatically gives to you. So yeah, it's like a success trap.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
love it. Yeah, I love it. I think, having the ability to help other people is the biggest thing. And that's what I love. Like, I did a post today, must have been, it's on Facebook and Instagram, I think, and it was about when I volunteered in Vietnam to teach English. And this is like after my separation, and I was like, I need to get out. I just need to do something. I've been reading these books, and they say volunteering is, you know, like one of the best things you can do to help your mental health. And honestly, it was so amazing to go and have that experience and teach English to like underprivileged kids in Vietnam. And then also Vietnam is like a beautiful country as well. So having that experience again, which is great. But being able to give the gift of knowledge or of kindness or whatever it is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So yeah, I love it.
How long were you over there?
I was in Vietnam for 5 weeks, in 5-6 weeks in October. So I went October until November, but I spent a week in Thailand. But I got really, really sick in Thailand. So I went out. It was meant to be going out the day, like I went out the day before with my best mate, and it was on the 11th of November is his birthday, and he was turning 30. So we were meant to be in Bangkok for his 30th. And we went out on the 10th, and I got really sick, and I didn't leave the bed until basically we got on the plane back to Saigon. And then so I missed his 30th birthday. I missed everything. I just didn't do anything after that. I was so ill, and he was like, well, this is the best pie ever. he went to get like a stir fry for like it was like maybe like $3 or $4 Australian dollars, like £2 or so, and that was what he had for his 30th birthday. And and then we got back to Australia after that, and I was only there 6 weeks before I started traveling again. So so I definitely owe him a solid. I owe him something, right? Yeah.
How many countries have you been to?
I was actually thinking that it's got to be close to 30 now, I think, because this year I've done a fair bit. So this year I did well from October last year. I've added Thailand. I had been to Vietnam before, but I've gone to Thailand, and then after that it was Tanzania, Rwanda, and then I went back through a bunch of countries. So I did Bosnia, Croatia, Montenegro. I'm in Netherlands right now. I'm in Amsterdam at the moment. So that's the first. Belgium, France, Austria, Italy again at the Dolomites, Germany for the first time, you know, and so I've been to a fair few countries this year, which is, I've been so grateful that I've had that opportunity to do that. And my goal is to travel to every country in the world, but it's that's like a long journey to make that happen. But if I can find a way to do that for mental health and raise funds and raise awareness across cultures, I think
that's cool.
Be a beautiful thing. Yeah, so that's one of the objectives actually, is to like through the businesses we host adventures and tours around the world. So it's essentially like it's a way to bring mental health, like a mindful sort of trip, to people, so they can join. If they're solo travelers or if they're in a group of friends, they can come and they have that tour, but on the back end of it they also have that educational side of things as well. So if they wanted to do meditation, breath work, cold water exposure, if they wanted to participate in a workshop, all of that's available to them on the trip, included in the trip price. And it allows us to travel, allows us to go to new cultures, get new experiences, but deliver something that travel agencies don't deliver. No one really delivers that, right? Is you go to have a really good time, get drunk, or you go to have a really good time on a tour, but where's the education? Where are we then adding to that? And that's sort of what Just Another Moment's about. It's about creating the good moments, as many good moments and as many positive moments as possible in people's lives, where we can also on the back end give them the resources and tools to help with their mental health, but also even if they don't suffer, they can help someone else with their mental health or overcome their mental health challenges. So yeah, I
love it. That's part of our business model as well, for like our Trifecta Training program. Is to do so I'd love to talk to you more about that too, like on and offline. Is that in fact we created I don't know if you saw the M2 Market Us website. Okay, so I actually created my own software as a service company that serves coaches and influencers, and we have a Spanish and an English version. So the Spanish version is Spanish on the back end for the dashboard, because my fiance and her coaches, their first native language is Spanish. And then our team that we have is bilingual, but like half of them, their first language is Spanish, and then the other half, their first language is not English, except for me. And so I'm like the only one, and you know I'm like the slow guy. I know lots of words and different ones, but I'm not fluent in those. But yeah, we've got a really talented team that allows us to do that. So we now have that. In fact, we're just soft launching the Spanish version because when we went to the International Coaching Federation, we kind of had it in our plans to do a Spanglish coaching platform. And then when we went to the conference in Argentina and South America, you know, it was obvious the need for it. And even the one gal that we had that is one of Glenda's coaches that was testing the system for us and working all the bugs out and everything and using it for her business. She I think was kind of, she didn't say anything, but I think she was kind of like not comfortable using it because in English is not as comfortable. But she didn't want to say anything to us. So it was key. It was like a blocker without anyone saying it was a blocker. Right. And now that we've got it in Spanish, it makes it so that like that part is so easy for her. And today, and one of the other coaches were doing like both of them have started their own podcasts now. So Glenda's got or we have a program with the University of Puerto Rico, and we've previously graduated, I think it was 11 people through the International Coaching Federation certification. It's one of like 2 international coaching certificates. And so it's pretty cool stuff.
That's amazing. Incredible. That is such a, I think
I'll have to send you a link so you can check it out.
Absolutely.
Let me know what you think, and then also, what do you use for your podcast? Because you said you have like something that's going to send us notes and that stuff. Is that FM thing or whatever?
Well, so how I'm recording now, like you could run it off here. So like if you wanted to, but it's here or there. Riverside FM is the system, which is really good because what it does is it records your video and audio separate to mine, and then it stitches it together after the call. So there won't be any like disruptions if you're talking, and there won't be any noise coming through my end. So for like the online system, it's really good, and it's what a lot of podcasters use. I have heard a lot of people use Zoom as well.
Yeah, we use StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Have you tried that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, check it out.
Yeah. So I'm happy to, like, you know, use whatever. So if you were using StreamYard, you know, I could be the host of the podcast, but using your like software, and then we can just mix it up that way. So that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I'll ask just a question. So how important is collaboration with organizations like Euphoria in providing personalized nutrition based on DNA?
Yeah, I'm gonna have my team gave you this, so actually, so right now, Euphoria was a company that I work with. They had a doctor-based program. They were the first country or company that I know of in the U.S. to do DNA-based nutrition. And Glenn and I worked with them, and I worked closely with their doctor program. So they had a doctor division where we were working with doctors to share that program with the patients. And basically what it was is it tested for like 16 SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms, or dirty genes that you might have. The most frequent ones that I actually have, both of them, is the MTHFR and the MTRR that have to do with like digestion. But we tested for everything. There was one for like eye health, one for heart health, all the different key factors, and then it gave someone like a 35-page report. So that's actually part of what I have in my Trifecta training system now. Is another company that works with doctors and chiropractors, and is just for medical professionals. I have 2 doctors that work with me, and so we're able to give those tests to clients, and then we get a report back that tells what is going on. And now we've got things not just like a DNA report, but also like for your microbiome. So do like a poop test that does your RNA and DNA. And with that, we can see actually what someone has as far as bad bacteria, bad microbiome type, even parasites, things that before weren't easily detectable. Now we can detect and even see different levels of things. So basically, then knowing what supplements would kill any of the bad things and the parasites that you don't want. How long do you need to have those protocols, in what order, in what sequences? Because sometimes those things you have to do, then rest, then do, and then retest usually every 3 to 6 months. For at least a period of like a year or 2 until you get those things, whatever those things are, fixed. Because a lot of the things that are health related, I found, were root cause, right? So it was something that if you went to your gut microbiome and you can help improve that part of your health, that other parts of your body naturally fix themselves. And that was part of when I got off of opiates and figuring out how to do that. I was also on an acid reflux medicine, proton pump inhibitor, since I was like 23, right? And the doctor's like, here, take this pill, and you can give up caffeine or alcohol. You should give up probably both, but he's like, you definitely should give up one. So I gave up at the time alcohol. I was just drinking caffeine. But anyways, it doesn't, like, those things are things that what I want to say. So like that company that sells that medicine, it's something that's still on the market, but it causes kidney failure, pneumonia 5 times in a year for me, osteoporosis. And these are things that they've been sued and lost for, right? And they still sell it over the counter. So that kind of stuff always baffles me. Where like the ingredients, it says used for 7 to 10 days on the package, but everybody prescribes it forever. So those are kind of things that frustrated me when I went through that like transition of opiate dependence and figuring out how to get off of it. But now I realize like everybody wants a shortcut, and those companies are making what in most cases at the beginning they think works. Now I know that like then when it's a profit oriented thing, later they might hide things, right? Like any corporation does, because they're like, oh, we don't want our market to disappear, or we don't want them to sue us for this. But yeah, that kind of stuff I kind of let go of all that, because for a while I was really mad, all those companies, and felt like I was a victim of them, and I had to get out of that victim mentality. So I had to release all that and take ownership of every part of what I, did through that process, and figure out how to help others just look at what they're doing wherever they are, right? Because like pointing a finger doesn't help you ever. like you're never going to fix yourself if you're looking outside yourself. So yeah, and when you have pain, it always comes from something inside of you, whether it is physical or emotional, in my opinion. So
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. How do you feel about medicine when it comes to mental health, like taking like prescribed medicine? Like, how do you feel about
that's
that?
a good question. Well, also, so my triplets were born early. And one of my daughters, all of them had level 4 brain bleeds. They were born at 26 weeks, like 1 pound 7 ounces, 1 pound 14 ounces. They gave my son like a 5% chance of living the first 48 hours. And so they've come from this huge struggle. But she has a shunt, which is a one-way valve from that relieves the pressure from her brain and takes brain fluid, spinal fluid down and into her stomach. She's had one time when that got infected. And so they had to replace it and move it. But she's been on all different kinds of medications. My son's been on like ADHD medication that I didn't think he should be on, right? He doesn't like it. His mom and the schools kind of forced him, or wanted him to take it during school. Now he's in a trade school, and he doesn't take it at all. So I've got I think that some things can help certain people, but I think any pharmaceutical is usually the worst way to address something. Because I believe that almost everything, even my daughter's seizures, could be addressed through her diet, exercise, breathing, and being present with herself. Right? Taking control over your nervous system. And if not totally eliminating pharmaceuticals, definitely reducing either the number of them or the amount that she needs, or that any human needs, should they stay more present with themselves. Because in my experience, even like the pain levels that I experience, because I still have them. In fact, we were talking about this today when I woke up, was that when I weighed myself, that shows my heart rate. And I don't usually look at it on my other devices and stuff. So unless I do it there, I don't like see it right away. And I looked, I was like, oh, it was like 75 or 78. So a lot of times I stand there and it's like 100, and I just woke up, but my resting heart rate's like 50. So if it's 100, that means I'm in pain, but I woke up in pain, so I didn't even realize I was in pain. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's cool to me, like how that part of my body works, and knowing how I can use it for myself, as opposed to letting it get myself depressed. Because it's an easy thing to be like frustrated and upset by, right? That like you wake up and it's like, damn, I'm in this much pain, and I just got up and I'm supposed to have slept. And like you look at my watch or ring, and I'm like, I woke up like 6 times last night. I didn't get any deep sleep, and I got like, I'm like, oh my God, what am I like? How am I going to function today? Like, if that's the way you think, right, this isn't going to help you. So you have to like understand how to use it as an enablement and empowerment. Because I've also seen people that's their problem, right? They're like, I'm taking all this nutritional stuff that's amazing, and I'm like, got all these tools and biometrics, but I'm like, don't have time to check them, and I'm worrying about everything. And it's like, you have to get that. That's why meditation to me is so important, because that's what it brings, right? Is that peace. And that's probably also the same thing as like you get from the nature, right? Because to me, that's nature is like forced meditation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, absolutely. And it doesn't even matter what type of nature it is. Like last night, I was riding my bike, like I'm in Amsterdam, I was riding my bike back.
Oh, you lucky man.
Yeah, it's good. It's my friends just popped off to Greece, and they're like, "Oh, you can stay at our house." I was like, "Okay."
Oh, cool.
So I flew over and yeah, live here now for a month or so. But last night I was just like, I hadn't been out of the house. I was feeling quite low over the weekend, and yeah, I just sort of like, oh, I'll go pick up the bike from the shop that they left it at, and so I walked there. And I was on the phone to a friend the whole way there, and then on the way back I was just riding my bike, and I got lost so many times, but I just had like, I was just like so enjoying it because I was outside and I was getting the fresh air, and you know, so it was like a really cool thing. And I was like, damn, like, you know, this is what I preach, is getting out in nature if you're feeling low. And then here I am, like I just worked all weekend, and I was like, man, I need to like get up and get out of the house and like do something, you know. So I think it's like really important. But going back to the point of like that medication, I agree with you on that side, where it's absolutely got a place in the world, in the sense of helping people overcome like certain periods of time. But it's also at the same time, it's a band-aid solution, isn't it? It's not necessarily, it's never going to fix your problems, you know. It will never fix your problems, and it will only create more down the line. And so that's one thing I've been very lucky with, outside of my back injury. For like the whole time I've had the depression, it's been the whole
I love
time
it.
the whole time I've had that was always therapy through communication with counseling and being active, so playing a sport or doing something. I never wanted to go down the route of medication, because I saw what it, like the impacts of that to my father, you know. And yeah, so I it's interesting, because when you're in pain, you go, oh, like I really you want that like quick fix. But there's certainly ways, and I mean, obviously not for everything, but there's certainly ways that medication is just that band-aid solution. And if we can get off it quickly, then we can be in a much better headspace, you know. And you mentioned meditation, breathing, self-awareness, you know, and just giving yourself that time is so important. So yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, and for me it's fun because it's trackable. So I like, you know, anything that I can track. And have you heard of the Flow Genome Project?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think you should check out the Flow Genome Project and the Flow Research Collective. Those guys are how I found Flow, which I named two of my products, my companies after, is BioFlow.Pro and FlowFuel.Pro.
Yeah.
And I was talking to this guy, and at the time, I weighed 100 more pounds than I do now. Kidney failure, pneumonia, all those things. Anemia was like, I would get a iron infusion, and I would lose like 30 pounds of water weight, just pee constantly, because my kidneys just started working right.
Yeah.
And so where's it going? Lost my train of thought. You're talking about the Flow Genome project? Flow. Yeah, so he tells me, and all I could do was at that time was literally walk like a half a mile to a mile to where this grocery store was, and then I would like get to talk to people. So that would be my community, like you're talking about. So I get out in the nature walk and get community talk to some people, and also get a rest, because I was usually pretty tired having to walk that far. And then I walk back to the house, make the food that I bought, and like then usually like rest again, like take a nap or whatever. And that was like my workout for the day. That was until I started to actually be able to do any like workout. Yeah, right. And that was for like almost a year. So, and when I was telling him, I'm like, I would just like listen to music, and I could do this breakdance move that because I was little, I used to do breakdancing and things. And I'm like, it's so cool. It's like the pain goes away. Yeah. And I'm like, it's so cool. And he's like, yeah, that's flow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you know, athletes like the zone. I'm like, yeah, I know the zone. He's like, well, that's what it is. It's like the flow. And I'm like, he's like, you got to check out these guys. They have a YouTube thing. And so at the time, they didn't even have a book they'd written or anything. But since then, I went to their first camp. that they had for like regular people, because they worked with like SEAL Team 6 and like Amazon and Jeff Bezos, you know, all these people. And then I ended up getting to work with the top doctor from the camp. So he was the doctor at camp, was Dr. Ben Kaplan Singer. And he actually worked with me then on my personal health. So we ran my 23andMe through Genetic Genie and another software. This is before the Euphoria thing, to figure out what medicine or what supplements I should take. And I would do the research on like Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine, and then say, these are the things I think that I should take that will help. And he would check PubMed, make sure there weren't any like challenges with any of the, so I was on like some cortisol meds and some other things still at the time. And so he would do that research for me or for us. And then, you know, I'd be taking that for like 3 to 6 months, and then we'd kind of test it up. But we did like, we tested my spit, my blood, my poop, my urine. Like if there was something to test, we tested it. And so that was how I learned a lot, right? And become interested in supplements. And then I found I was actually working with Shaka Khan's nephew after I'd worked with her on a music project for the Indian government that was a tribute to Martin Luther King and Gandhi. And I went to Las Vegas to see a place called Legends, a venue that he was looking at buying. And we were talking about doing this really cool null, almost like Star Trek, where you'd have like a person singing, but you would be able to hear it at just your table. And then like if someone walked up to talk to you, like the server, would you be able to hear them, and it would like mute everybody else. And then when they walked away, then it would like, you'd be able to hear what the thing was. But if they had multiple stages, that you could actually basically see multiple performances, but listen to which one you wanted to hear without having the rest of the sound from the other room affect you. Because I had worked with a company called Digilinks that ended up selling out to like Clear Channel. It does these like arena screens and all this stuff. But they had patents for syncing IP for video and audio between two IP addresses, like 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, we were one of 2 companies that were, my IT guys were writing code to like put stuff on the panels and do interfaces for like through RS-232 connections, which is like a 2-way serial to connect to like a Pioneer receiver, or like, you know, Lexicon surround sound processor or something else like that, to make stuff talk to each other. Similar to what I'm doing now, like with software, right? But with music and with basically devices that transfer or talk and share music. So
that's awesome. Man, you've had a life, haven't you? You've been, wow.
I've lived a few of them, I think, luckily, already. And I think that's that they're all so connected. I've been telling people I was a time traveler since I was a little kid. So I think that like time is because of flow, right? It can be slower or faster. It's like your perception. But I've kind of understood that as a child, but how to relate to it now is what I'm experiencing, and trying to teach others how to experience with the tools that I have. So that's I think the fun part of that.
It's amazing. And I think like flow state in working academically or just in like your physical life is like a really cool thing. I was actually reflecting on this yesterday because I was talking to some friends about like running and how I don't run because when I do, I get shin splints, right? And my legs get really sore and it hurts and it's achy. And I had this problem when I was last playing soccer in Australia. And when I would run around the field, just in the warm-up, I would feel my legs. I'd feel my legs really sore, really achy, like the shin splints would come. But when I was involved in the game, actually playing with the ball as the focus and like where I needed to be, no pain. I couldn't feel anything because I was so like in that flow state of that. And it's like when you said about it before, the first thought I was like, well, if you're an NFL player or you're a rugby player or something like that, you're not just going to like walk down the street and get someone to run at you that hard and take it because it's going to hurt, right? But in the heat of the moment in that game, your mind is not on anything other than that moment. So you might get hit, but you don't feel it. You don't get hurt. And yeah, I was like really connected with that because I was like, man, I probably, if I could find a way to find flow in like the running sense, just like when I ride a bike, like it sucks, but I might ride like 100 or 200 kilometers. It wouldn't tire me out because it's like a meditation for me.
Right.
You know? Running is not meditative for me, you know. And so I wonder if I could get to that state, would I just not feel that pain, you know, because I'm in that mind frame or that mindset space. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, interesting.
I have a similar challenge. So I have shin splints also since I've played soccer my whole life.
Yeah.
And but I normally got them every single year if the coach made us run on the street or run beside the street instead of just on the field.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, no, please. I was like, I'll run whatever else. Like, and he's like, okay, you start running cross country and when off season, and then you don't have to run the track of everybody else. I'll let you run on the field or just not even run because you'll be in good enough shape. It won't matter. And that was a lie. He had me run double. And then I was even more mad. And then he finally told me, he's like, do you ever leave the game? When like my junior year, I was complaining. And he's like, do you ever get subbed out? And I'm like, because I was like, well, no, why does that matter? He's like, other people do. He's like, you're midfield and you never get subbed out. He's like, all the other midfields, I have to sub them out. He's like, you're the only person that can play the whole game. He's like, no one else has that endurance. He's like, but I have to make you run extra or you wouldn't have that endurance.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, so like a smarter coach, right? But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
anyway,
funny.
So the shin splints thing, I think, definitely. So you're accessing flow when you're in the game. And so that increases the amount of dopamine your body produces. So you've actually got a natural pain relief happening when you're in that flow state. So that's why I always seek it out so much, because it's something that gives me pain relief. That's also why I do the showers. So I'd recommend if you can find a sauna and do a sauna with as hot as you can go and then cold shower or cold plunge. That'll help relieve any of the pain that you do get when you're doing the shin splints. And then from what I understand, most of that has to do with the like stretching and not overstretching certain muscles there. There's I go to a guy that does something called muscle activation techniques, where they use palpitation to turn on and off different muscles that aren't functioning correctly. So like they'll test you one way and then test you another way, and if when they're holding it, if they can move the leg and you can't resist, then that muscle group shut down. And then they'll move you over and they'll palpitate like a certain part, then flip back over and test it, and you'll be like, you can hold it. It's so wild because they'll test one side and you're like holding it, and he tests the other side and I'm like, shoot. And he's like, okay, he flips me over and he does it. And I'm like, he goes to hold it and it's like, maybe I can kind of hold it, right? But it's not locked in yet. He flips me back over and he does it again. And then there's been times with like my back and trunk rotation and things like that where some days he can't get it to turn on. And in the beginning, like when I was doing it, like that's the main core of your body. It's like every single time I went to him, he was having to like do this to turn it back on. Then we do exercises to strengthen that whole area. And then, you know, it's just a pattern of repeating until my body was strong enough and then coordinated enough with knowing that those muscle groups were turned on. Because what happens is like it shuts down certain parts to protect you from hurting or injuring yourself again. And so even once he's turned that back on, then I have to do the motion, usually with like a light weight in the correct form, to retrain neurologically my brain and my body to do that thing. Or it has this weird thing that I feel energy wise that it's like, I say that it's like my body's still scared to do the movement, even though the muscles are all going to engage. and it can do it, it's like it feels jerky, like doing it, whether it's a squat or something else, right? And so, but then once we've done it enough, then I can train it, you know, and it's like, okay, now I got this, you know, now I can keep doing it. So it's pretty cool. So I think that you could do the same thing, right, with the shin splint part, because I also, since then, I never got shin splints after high school, and I played like 3 times a week until I was like 37, until I hurt myself.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So,
gee, and I'm only 30, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I.
Maybe it's because I'm old, right?
Yeah,
55, and no, it's not for that. And I'll go. So also, music is something that can bring about a flow state easily.
Yeah.
So if you're just practicing, there's a place that that we get to go out in California that's got an indoor field outdoors.
Yeah.
So it's got AstroTurf and a couple indoor goals. And so I can take like 4 balls out there by myself and just like turn on my music. And like I can just like go full steam, like as hard as I can, and just like shooting on goal and like, you know, dribbling and like shooting up against the wall, practicing just spin moves and stuff, just like trying to go all out. And like 15 minutes to 30 minutes, I'm wiped. I'm this wet head to toe, right?
Yeah.
And but I was like not feeling any pain, or when I did, it was like it didn't matter, right? Like, because I'm like, it might be for a second, but then I'm like, I stop whatever that is, I'll laugh it off, right? And then go do something else.
Yeah.
But that would be a way, I think, to like pump your body full of such endorphins and dopamine and adrenaline that you're going to naturally like be healing those things as you're working them out. So that would be the way to get to the point where then it just doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I never thought of. Yeah, I didn't think of that until you mentioned it, and it didn't like.
Plus, it's going to help with the other stuff.
Yeah,
so that's what I have. You seen? What's his name? He's an actor. It's a Netflix movie. He's with his therapist. When he was a younger actor, he was kind of fat.
Jonah Hill. It's called.
Yeah.
That
is awesome. Have you seen the one with his therapist?
Yeah, I have. I need to rewatch it because I mean, when I watched it last year when it came out, I was going through my separation, and I was just not in a good headspace. So I wasn't able to focus on anything. So I definitely need to watch it again.
It's just what we were talking about earlier. So his therapist basically tells him, listen, everybody needs to move and get exercise and stuff. So that's his prescription, is they have to do it, but they have to trust him. They just have to do it. So like they don't have to believe it's going to work. They just have to do it. But he explains also that same philosophy, and we kind of teach that too. And what it's like, you know, if you can't believe in yourself, believe in my belief in you. Yeah. Until you can believe that you can do it yourself, and that's why you're always there, kind of with the person until they, you know, it's almost like when you're with a kid and you're holding their bike. You know, and you're not really holding it, and they're like, they think you're really holding it because you're still running next to them. Yeah, they're really riding it all by themselves. Yeah, the minute they realize they're riding it by themselves, they crash the bike because they were like, "Oh, fuck," you know, like, no, I'm doing it by myself. Like, or they're like, "Oh, this is cool, I'm doing it by myself," and they just keep going, right? So either way, like doing it enough that. Yeah, I'm doing it by myself. I got this. So,
I love that. So I just want to write this bit down. So you said, if you don't believe in yourself, keep doing it until, like, I believe in you. So, but keep doing it until you believe in yourself. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, you can borrow my belief in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, especially when someone trusts you. And you're their mentor, right? It's a very empowering thing for you to share your, one, it's usually an understanding of the process, 2, but your ability to see things in all people that they don't see in themselves and the results other people have gotten. So then they're able to put that trust too in you and themselves, that if they just do the process, that they'll also get the result because you're telling them that. Yeah. Right. So it's like, okay, I don't see how it's going to work, but you know, like, I'll do it, right? Yeah. So that's what Jonah Hill says in my thing when I watched it. That's what I got out of it. It was like, he was like, okay, I'm going to do this exercise thing, and that's what he keep having to remind himself. Like, and that when he does it, it's like, oh, then I do feel better, right? Why? Because your body's already producing all these chemicals. Yeah. That, like, you're going to go ask the pharmaceutical company to give you that they can't give you as good ones as you can make for yourself.
Yeah.
And they're not addictive, and they don't have any of the bad side effects. Let's see, what are you really determined to do here? Yeah. Right? Like, if you're really determined to, like, make yourself not fucking crazy, wouldn't you take like 30 minutes a day to do this exercise thing? And if you're a person like me that hates exercise, but knows that in 2 or 3 days he's going to feel like shit. And the only way I did exercise before was I had a community of soccer players. Yeah. And literally, like, I went and hung out with them 3 nights a week. And the reason I exercised was because, like, I wanted the community. It wasn't because I, like, wanted to go, like, exercise. If I wasn't playing soccer with those dudes, I wouldn't have been exercising at 37. I would have been exercising at 20. Yeah. Like, I would get up on a college weekend after we partied on a Friday night or a Saturday night. A Saturday night at IU, and it was like 35 to 50-minute drive back to Indianapolis to play indoor soccer. But I wouldn't even think about it. I get up at 6, 7 a.m. I'd set my alarm after going to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah. Drunk, you know, like, not probably should have driven, but getting up and you're driving there and you're like, music, you know, like, then I'm going to play. So I'm going to get in a flow state. I'm going to be with my friends. Yeah. You know, if I had a good game, it was at 10 a.m. So you got to get up at like 9 or 8 to get there in time, right? You know, but you're getting up at crazy early hours that you never would do for anything else. Yeah. For the flow state and the community. But I didn't even know what a flow state was then. And I didn't even realize I was doing it for community. Like, I just thought I loved soccer that much. But I'd literally programmed myself to need that dopamine and adrenaline and things, I believe, and was smart enough to know that if I didn't have that, I was going to be missing something in my life. Yeah. Right. So I had to drive back for that too, because that was just once a week. So I didn't get that like other like 3 times a week thing that I had all through like also high school sports, because I played so many sports. Right. It was like I was always doing something that gave me flow without knowing that was just such a part of my life. So yeah.
No, I completely resonate with you. Like, I wouldn't be doing this. I was a striker, right? So
you're the fastest guy on the team.
Well, I was a winger when I started. Like, I was a winger because I was fit and I was fast, but I was lazy. So eventually they put me at number 9 as
just
the
like
holding
my friend
player.
Heath. Yeah.
So they just put me at
like,
number 9.
And the motherfucker smoked. And he'd be like, I'm not running over there. Like, I'd pass him off. It's just a little too far. He's like, I wouldn't be able to run after that, man. Yeah. Like, motherfucker. Like, I'm not passing you the ball anymore, dude. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everybody passed him the ball because he was like fast. Like, literally, if he could get the ball near someone else, I mean, like, he knew he was going to be outrun him. So then he was gone. And you're like, you just had to get him a good lead and a pass, and he was going to probably score. So
yeah. No, that was me. I had like a really good first touch and a really good shot, you know. But like I would be, when I watch like Messi play, for example, I notice he's like, I don't know, like, without sounding insulting, he's quite a lazy player, but he's intelligent. He's so smart that he knows he doesn't have to run. He can just walk into the space and still be in the right space. And when he needs to go, he goes. Like, he's such an intelligent player that he doesn't need to do that. And like, sure, he's like incredibly fit. And I think the difference between Ronaldo and Messi is Messi's got it in the mind, and Ronaldo had to work really hard. Messi's a complete natural, and Ronaldo had to work exceptionally hard to get to that level. But with Messi, I watch him and I go, man, he's just walking around like half the time, you know, and then he pops up and creates magic, and you go, how is crazy. But yeah, that was like, I'm not saying I'm Messi, but that was me. I was just so lazy. I wouldn't, like, even my trainer said, oh, you need to run like my coach, who was like back in the day, run 3 kilometers, do that twice a week. And I was like, I'm not running 3 kilometers. He goes, okay, get on a bike and ride 10. And I was like, I'll ride 3 kilometers. I'm not riding 10, you know. And I just think how like ridiculous that attitude is, because like, I love playing football, but
but you're like going to hurt yourself by not doing more.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
because you know, like how much more fun would it be able to smoke that fucker? Like you're like,
yeah.
if I would have run like 10, think how fast or how much conditioning I would have. But like, until you get to that level, I think of those kinds of players, you don't realize that, and I think some of them like maybe even never realize it, right? Because like even when I went to college, my roommates were a tennis player and a wrestler, brothers, and then other athletes lived all around us. So the whole basketball team lived on either side of our apartments, and like on my dorm floor, it was like all the football players and the baseball players. Yeah. So I was like literally like surrounded by all the athletes in my college days. So yeah, it was fun seeing like how each person does that. And yeah, even now too, like my mentor, he deals a lot with athletes and a lot of ex-athletes, and just the mindset of those kinds of people versus also seeing how many of them are now running like big companies or have, you know, that same mindset in their business that they had in their professional, you know, careers. So
it's super interesting, isn't it? And how sport translate into business so well. Like if you're like at that high level, and like intelligent, I think like if you're intelligent, if you've got like intelligence in sport, like you're killer in business, because like you can translate that straight across. So yeah, amazing. Well, I will say we're gonna have a cracking podcast. I know for a fact I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, I mean, I could keep talking to you, but I think we should definitely save some for the actual pod.
Yeah, and we do have, actually, we're taking out. So I get to. Have you seen the TRX?
Yes.
Like the bands.
Yeah.
So this gal that we're working with, my mentor, he's head of the gaming commission here in Indiana. He was head of the lottery. He's a lawyer that was an ex-baseball player, a black guy that when he's 15 years older than me. So when he graduated, he was top of his class. The top 3 law firms in the state or in the city, 2 20-page letters and a 10-page rejection letter as to why a law firm was not ready for a black lawyer in their practice. And so he became a prosecutor, then head prosecutor, other things like that, right?
Yeah.
Ended up representing many different athletes and whatnot. But yeah, just interesting to see all those things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, even understanding too, like how since my fiance is black and I'm white, they, you know, people assume certain things, or even like when they don't know that I'm with her, like, you know, things I see that, you know, people don't see. And just being able to share that in a way that brings light and education to people. And that's another one of the things that's fun for me to play with, that part of our world and what we have. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy with like different cultures and different like different parts of the world have different perspectives and different beliefs and everything, you know. It's like, it's definitely interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. Well, I was going to say we're going to go to dinner with them, but so that's where I got sidetracked. So her one of the gals we're going with, she has invented a system that uses resistance technology, and has the similar to like the ATX band system, but it's we just used it for the first time the other day. It allowed me to do a lot of things that I could not do with that other band system, to work on my injuries that I had, and the injuries that I had, and be able to work on things that I couldn't otherwise work on. But anyway, she's going to be one of our people that so in our coaching side of what we do, we have a business mastery program, and she's going to be one of our first people that do that. And then we're going to help develop that product of hers, because she actually has it patented, both the technology and the processes that she has and the names that she has for the different exercises and stuff. So yeah. Later on, I'll be able to share that stuff with you. It's gonna be some cool stuff. So yeah, I get to do some fun stuff on the other side too, as far as like inventing things and creating things, and so it's fun.
No, that would be amazing. And one day, I've never been to the US. So one day when I get there, I'd love to catch up and meet up. I've got friends I've got a friend in New York and one up in North Dakota and one in Texas. So it's like,
oh, that's what you're gonna have to do then. What my stepson, my Glenda's son, just did. So he just graduated from ROTC in college and took a road trip for like 3 weeks. And he drove from California to friends. You know, he's in the military too, so he drove to some different friends that were different, like you were talking about, like Tennessee and Oklahoma and Texas, and then went to his grandma's in Florida. And then he thought he was going to go all the way up to New York and all the way around the East Coast, but then he realized he had his security job, said he had a mandatory meeting back in California. So he drove and met us in Indiana. We flew from California to meet him, but he actually hung out with my son and my family for a day before we got here. And then we hung out with him, and then he had to take off and drive all the way back, and he got to stop like a couple more times for like an hour or two with some friends, but had to really like boogie back. But yeah, dude, that would be, I've never even been to I would say only maybe like 25 of the 50 states. So that's on my list, is to figure out which ones I haven't been to, start doing some of that with him because he really likes that. And then even maybe with my son too, triplet son. So yeah, when you come, you're definitely welcome. We're in Indianapolis and Laguna Beach, California. So we can show you all the coolest places and
I'd love to
stuff to do. And it'd be blast.
No, perfect. Well, I mean, I don't have a home. I just couch surf at the moment. So
that's cool. When
I get a home, I'll let you know, and then you can come and check out the UK or Australia even, because my family are over. Well, that's where I was from. I moved from Australia to England just this year. So but when I get myself sorted out and life back on track, then sure.
You're rocking it.
All right, take care. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers.